Hello everyone and welcome to the Storyline Collectives. If you're drawn to chilling mysteries, true crime stories, and tales that blur the line between the real and the supernatural, you're in the right place. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe to our channel for more stories that will keep you up at night. Now let's dive into the haunting tale of Willow Creek Manor, where the echoes of the past still resonate through its walls. In the heart of the sleepy town of Alderwick stood Willow Creek Manor, an imposing structure that had seen better days. Built in 1875, the manor had been home to generations of the Carroway family, who were once the wealthiest and most respected residents in the area. Their legacy, however, was marred by rumors and whispers of betrayal, greed, and a murder that had been covered up and forgotten, or so the townsfolk thought. The story began with Margaret Carroway, the last of the family line. A woman of striking beauty and fierce intelligence, Margaret was known for her charitable endeavors and sharp mind. But she had a dark side, one that only those closest to her knew about. Her marriage to Charles Ashton, a young and ambitious banker from the city, was meant to unite two powerful families, but it quickly turned into a battlefield. Friends and servants alike spoke in hushed tones of their bitter arguments and the rumors that Charles was involved in a secret affair. Yet no one could have predicted the fateful night in 1913 when Margaret was found dead, her body sprawled at the foot of the grand staircase. The police had ruled her death an accident, a tragic fall down the marble steps. But whispers of foul play spread like wildfire through Alderwick. The servants claimed to have heard screams echoing through the manor in the dead of night, and a neighbor swore she saw a shadowy figure disappear from the window just moments before the authorities arrived. But despite the rumors, the case was never reopened, and Margaret Carroway's death was dismissed as nothing more than a sad coincidence. The years rolled by, and Willow Creek Manor passed into the hands of distant relatives who had no interest in the property. It remained abandoned for decades, its halls gathering dust and its history fading into the mists of time. That was until Nora Bennett, a journalist with a reputation for uncovering hidden truths, decided to make the manor the subject of her next article. Nora had grown up hearing tales of Willow Creek and the ghostly rumors surrounding Margaret Carroway's death. The thought of revealing the real story was irresistible. Nora's investigation began with old records, interviews with surviving elders in Alderwick, and a visit to the town's archive. The more she delved, the more she discovered the whispers had truth behind them. Margaret had been on the verge of revealing a scandal that involved her husband, and a financial scheme that threatened to ruin the town. A scheme so deep that even the local authorities were involved. And then there was the mysterious visitor, a shadowy figure said to have been seen at the manor on the night of Margaret's death. The old stories spoke of a spirit, but Nora was determined to find out if it was merely folklore. As Nora spent nights at Willow Creek Manor, strange things began to happen. The temperature dropped dramatically in certain rooms, and she would hear the faint sound of heels clicking against the marble floors, though she knew she was alone. Objects were displaced, and the pages of an old journal would turn on their own as if seeking her attention. Her most chilling encounter came one evening when she was sitting in the drawing room, studying an old photograph of Margaret. The air grew heavy and a soft whisper filled the space, just barely audible above the wind outside. "Help me." Startled, Nora glanced around but saw no one. Her pulse quickened and she couldn't shake the feeling that Margaret's spirit was trying to communicate. It wasn't long before she discovered the journal hidden behind a loose brick in the fireplace. The journal was filled with Margaret's musings, but it was the final entry that made Nora's blood run cold. It spoke of betrayal, a plan to confront Charles, and a promise that the truth would come out. "If I fall tonight, it will not be an accident. Remember my words," the entry read. As the days went on, Nora uncovered more about the sinister network surrounding Charles Ashton. He had conspired to keep his affair hidden and ensure that Margaret's death would be ruled an accident. But he had underestimated Margaret's will. She had set a trap, leaving clues that only someone brave enough to look past the surface would find. Nora realized that Margaret's spirit had been trapped, unable to rest until the truth was brought to light. One night, with the full moon casting its light over the manor, Nora decided to conduct a seance. She was desperate for answers and needed to speak directly to Margaret's spirit. Candles flickered, casting long, wavering shadows on the walls as she sat in the grand parlor, surrounded by the old furniture that once belonged to the Carroway family. With her voice steady but filled with anticipation, she called out, "Margaret Carroway, if you are here, I seek your truth." The room grew colder, and then the faintest sound of a woman's voice whispered, "You're not alone." The air thickened, and Nora felt the presence of the past pressing down on her. The voice continued, speaking of a betrayal, of a night that had ended in tragedy, and of a spirit that had never found peace. But it was the final words that shook her to her core: "Find the proof." Determined, Nora spent the next few days searching through the manor's hidden corners. She found a secret room behind an old tapestry, where a series of letters between Charles Ashton and a mysterious third party were hidden. The letters revealed that Charles had plotted to silence Margaret, fearing that her discovery of his secrets would ruin him. But Margaret had anticipated his betrayal and had prepared a way to ensure that her voice would be heard even after death. With the evidence in hand, Nora presented her findings to the authorities, sparking a renewed investigation. The truth about Margaret's death came to light, revealing not only Charles Ashton's guilt, but also the depth of corruption that had pervaded Alderwick for generations. The case was finally closed, and Margaret Carroway's spirit found peace. After the investigation was over, Nora returned to the manor one last time. The air felt different now, as though a weight had been lifted. The echoes of the past no longer felt threatening, instead they were whispers of thanks. As she stood in the grand hall, Nora whispered, "Rest now, Margaret." And as the moon shone over the manor, she could have sworn she heard a soft, satisfied sigh. Thank you for joining us on this journey into the haunting history of Willow Creek Manor. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the Storyline Collectives for more chilling tales and unsolved mysteries. We'd love to hear what you think. Do you believe Margaret's spirit was finally set free? Share your thoughts and theories in the comments below. Until next time, stay curious and stay safe.